Well, welcome to another episode of Coronacation. I'm Naomi White in Brisbane, Australia, and tonight I'm delighted to be joined by Simone Ellis, who is a New Zealander living in Tokyo in Japan. How are you, Simone?
I'm great. Thanks, Naomi. Great to talk to you.
Simone, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing in Japan.
I'm here in Tokyo as the marketing director for Air New Zealand. So airlines are the early adopters of the COVID crisis. And so what I'm doing now is really, thinking about what is the pivot and how to, I guess, make some new moves, which may be back to the Southern Hemisphere. And, maybe it's staying in Tokyo and exploring something new. So right now we're just assimilating the fact that maybe our airline, as for many airlines, are not going to be flying again for the foreseeable future, perhaps not within a year. And that presents some interesting dilemmas, but also gives us some time, right? Like with everybody, I think, to try some new things and to maybe revisit some old connections as well.
So when I asked the question, how is COVID-19 affecting you, you seem to be more affected than most, perhaps.
Yeah, look, I think things happened really quickly in our industry, in our business. Really, it was breathtakingly rapid. Japan had been dealing with COVID since the Diamond Princess cruise liner, but at that point, that was contained, relatively contained, and we were all still working, and it was a major news item. But I don't think anybody foresaw that it would spread as rapidly as it did and have the deep impacts that it had. And when things started to happen in terms of border closures, etc., things happened really fast. So our airline stopped flying to China, and then very quickly New Zealand closed its borders. And at that point, we just stopped flying, and a lot of other people in our business have been deeply affected as well. Obviously, all the airline crews and the maintenance engineers, and the cuts are very, very deep. And right now, we're just seeing whether we can maintain a skeleton staff for as long as it takes for borders to start relaxing the restrictions, or find ways to feel that they trust inbound visitors again.
Yeah, that might take a while.
Yeah, and the airlines are a physical business. They don't have a digital pivot.
We can't teleport across the other side of the world.
Right. And Japan and New Zealand are two islands and are quite dependent on porous borders and connecting with other parts of the world. But the reality is that right now we're just experiencing this time of non-interconnectedness, and look, I think there's an element of this for me, which is around some kind of karmic retribution, right? Airlines are out there still burning a lot of fossil fuels, and to be perfectly honest, it's been a challenging thing ethically for me to be working in airline, but yeah, maybe now this is the time for us. This is the time for us to not do that and to experience the world without. And I think we will definitely find new ways to assimilate and connect without the physical thing of needing to fly everywhere.
And just sitting on a yoga mat, I've noticed.
Yeah. So this is my new yoga dojo. We have a small apartment in Tokyo, but having to spend a lot of time at home now is increased the time for me to be able to practice. So I'm also a trained yoga teacher, and since I moved here to Tokyo, I haven't been able to teach formally because of space and time constraints, right? And so I've just really enjoyed being able to practice longer and access some of the yoga communities that I've been missing, also regain that sense of community and also teach again myself. So I'm offering these online classes through Zoom, like probably every other yoga teacher, but they've been really successful. I think probably because people they need the sense of connection, and they need something physical to overcome the sort of spatial constraints that they have. And they have time. So it's been a wonderful dimension to this thing of staying at home and giving me an outlet, and reconnected me with something that I really love. So.
Well, you'll have to give me your Instagram address so I can join one of your yoga classes from home.
Love to have you.
So have you got some advice for other women around the world, you know, based on what you're experiencing right now, or different perspectives that may help?
Look, I think not everybody is comfortable with sudden change and forced change. I think we all feel like we have a modicum of control over our destiny, but I think what this is showing us is that really we don't. And we've got to get comfortable with assimilating change and kind of going with the flow. And it's something like what Obama talks about. You got to get over that quickly, that you have the control. And you have to, I think, see it as, this was something talked about by Jack Cornfield, who's a Buddhist monk that I follow. He says, try to see this as something that is being done for you, not that is being done to you. Because that's a really deep mind shift, but it really helped me to see, okay, well, what is right, you know, for my life right now and for others' lives. I've got a 14-year-old boy, and ever since he's been born, I've been working. And so I haven't had that time to hang out with him and parent him, you know, which I have now. And so we're, you know, finding this new relationship, and it's, you know, at times fractious and it's not perfect, but it's great and it's a gift. And so, you know, for me, this time is, you know, this great thing has come out of it, to be able to have this new relationship with him, and for us to experience Tokyo together. We walked around the other day in the neighborhood and we found this beautiful Japanese garden. It was just this little jewel in the middle of all this crazy urban, and there were big koi swimming in the pond. There was a white heron that kind of landed over here on a rock, and we're just going, wow, this is really special time. So,
and what's your daily routine look like through all of this?
So I still try to get up pretty early to practice. Because now I'm teaching, my classes will start at around 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. So if I want to practice, I need to do that in the early time. So I'm still getting up at 5:30. I get on my mat. I've been doing a wonderful virtual yoga retreat with a teacher in LA who I normally wouldn't be able to access other than by flying there.
Yeah.
She's offered that, and this has given me, you know, a structured practice, which has been really important for me. I think structure has been important for our family. So I get my boy up at 7:30, make him a good breakfast. We're not rushing so much. We can enjoy. I can sit down and eat with him, and then he gets into his schoolwork, and I've got about 5 hours of work for 3 days a week still. So I'm working a little bit, and then, you know, I'm connecting with a lot of friends, and we try to go out and eat or find food, you know, once a day. There's still a lot of things that are open in Japan. There's a lot that's closed, but we can wander around and buy food, and there's so much visually to explore, and you know, we're pretty lucky to be able to move around the neighborhood.
And what do you love about living in Japan?
I love the respect that everyone has for each other. That's a really collective society where people feel that they're part of something bigger than themselves, and they really do respect their neighbors and other people. They make space for each other. They look after each other. Yeah, it's very prone to disasters here, and Japanese people have been through a lot of them before. So this is another thing that they have to get through together. You know, there's this sort of renewed sense of community. And yeah, they're resilient. And, you know, I think this too shall pass. We'll all come through it. And it's a matter of whether we can capture the positive changes rather than just going back into the you know, the old normal.
Yeah, exactly. And what do you think the new normal will look like? Do you have a sense yet?
I think there's just going to be so much more digital connection, and for the Japanese who haven't really embraced in a big way the teleworking or, you know, working online, they're having to now, and so a lot more teams will be able to work in this kind of remote and distributed way. Maybe not pack onto crowded trains at 8 o'clock in the morning, or crowd into small working spaces, and there'll be a little more flexibility, I think, with ways people work. Yeah. And people taking more care of themselves, realizing that it's actually important to stop working, and it's important to do things like yoga and take time for yourself.
It feels really good to get 8 hours of sleep a night and be commuting for a couple of hours a day.
And not feel guilty about spending 2 hours a day on the mat, or
that's right, exactly.
Luxuriating and making a beautiful meal.
Yeah, that's right. And enjoying it with your family instead of being half on your phone. And
I feel like the planet, the world is just trying to teach us something, right? This is what is humanity, what is important to us, what's important to every single individual. Reconnect with that. The life is not a dress rehearsal. We've been given this amazing opportunity to really look hard at that again and sort of assess the priorities. So I hope people do hold on to them.
That's beautiful. Well, Simone, thank you so much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Great to see you.
Your time, however long that lasts in Japan, and I look forward to joining one of your online yoga classes.
Yes, me too. I hope everybody will feel free to join. Everybody's welcome. So nice that we could connect on this project. Congratulations. That's great.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.